Hi. So I say this as sort of the prelude to pretty much every video I make, and that is that I am absolutely terrible at making the promise to make videos more regularly. Life just goes by ridiculously quickly. I mean, I think it's been 6 months since I've made a video. Um, I'm sure in that video I promised to make more videos and try and log kind of the progress, if you like, that I'm making across the public health specialty training program and kind of give people a bit of an insight as to what's involved, how to apply, the process of applying, and yeah, just kind of little nuggets of information, and also to reflect on my own journey throughout the program. But yeah, so much happens very quickly. I have absolutely no idea where to start or what to talk about. And I think my last video was like 12 minutes, 40 minutes long. I'm going to keep this very, very brief in the hope that it makes me do more videos, knowing that I could talk for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe, and press stop. I've said in previous videos, I'm not a YouTuber. I do not know how to edit videos. So my videos are literally just one long bit of recording where I just talk quite a bit of shit, to be honest. Hopefully, there's some bits that are relatively useful though. But yeah, going back to what I'm on with, what's happened over the last 6 months, I suppose the biggest thing that I've had on my agenda in relation to public health specialty training is the DFPH exam, or the Part A exam, to which it's commonly known. So for those that don't know, it's probably the biggest hurdle of the entire training program. It's essentially 2 exam papers sat over 2 days. You get a day of rest in the middle. It's not a day of rest, it's a day of cramming. Each paper in itself has 2 parts, so like a morning paper and an afternoon paper. And the purpose of that DFPH exam is to test our knowledge and skills across an absolutely gigantic curriculum. There's no way of knowing everything about everything in significant detail, that's for sure. So it's more about trying to know a little bit about everything and then using your experience and sort of common sense to fill in the gaps with examples and practical application of various bits and bobs. So there's some incredibly niche things within that curriculum. And for example, the first exam paper is 10 questions, each worth 10 marks. And it's split up to kind of represent the curriculum, if you like. But you have 2 questions on section 1, which is like epidemiology and statistics and research methods kind of stuff. And section 2, which is like disease causation, which could contain everything from health improvement, health protection, screening, vaccination. But yeah, there'd be like, I don't know, 50, 60, maybe more individual things to learn within each of those sections. And you've got 2 questions. And those 2 questions can be very similar to each other. They can be polar opposite. But what you can guarantee is that they will not represent everything that you've learned. So you could learn absolutely loads and get asked questions on the very few bits that you didn't learn or you don't know much about. So yeah, that exam was in March, first week of March. We basically started preparing for that as a cohort in Yorkshire and Humber about 6 months beforehand. And then the last month before that exam, I was literally on full-time study leave. And yeah, I still didn't know everything. And it wasn't a case of revising, it was a case of learning things for the first time. Because as I say, there's just some really weird niche and complex bits to learn. But yeah, I won't go on about it. What is important, or I guess a big deal, is that our exam results are next Friday, 3rd of May. So yeah, that's certainly on my mind. And what that has done is made it really difficult to actually get involved with much public health work. I think on my placement, I find it really difficult to transition back into normal public health life, so to speak, after preparing for and sitting an incredibly intense exam. If I fail, I will then resit in October, which will not be fun. The first paper was very difficult and not what was expected, and I've heard colleagues up and down the country feel very similar towards that, so that's good. I think second paper, I really don't know. That's like stats and critical appraisal. Yeah. Yeah, basically shitting myself about that exam result. I think most people that go on to the training program have obviously come from a background where they've been educated to a certain level, they've worked at a certain level. Not many people are used to failing exams or assignments or whatever. So when it comes to this massive exam, there's a lot of pressure there, and it's a very normal thing to actually fail this exam, certainly first time. So adjusting your mindset to be okay with failure, at least temporarily until you pass it, is something that I'm trying to adjust to. And if I do fail, which is a very strong possibility, at least might fail one, I'd be happy if I banked one paper, then I only have to resit one paper in October. But I still got to pay the full exam fee, which is a hefty amount. I won't go into it, but I certainly couldn't afford to be resitting paper after paper every March and every October. But yeah, dragging on already, 6 minutes in, 6.5 minutes in, so I'm going to try wrap up and just give an overview of what I'm currently working at on placement. As I say, my exam is kind of out of the way, not out of sight, not out of mind, because it's very much there, but I'm not revising, so I'm kind of doing more public health work again, which is nice. Main bit of work I'm doing is a health needs assessment for gambling related harm within my local authority placement. If you don't know, a health needs assessment, or an H&A, which is always called, is basically a systematic way or method for exploring health issues within a certain identified population. So it could be children, young people, it could be adults, it could be older people, it could be ethnic minorities, could be anyone. It's looking at what health issues those people face and what are they challenged with. And usually those health issues relate to a certain topic. So for me, it's gambling, but it could be alcohol, it could be homelessness, substance misuse, it could be anything. Housing, anything. So essentially you identify the greatest need within that population. You identify what health harms are occurring. You look at what's already happening in terms of service and provision, what we already do as a local authority to try prevent and reduce those harms to health. And then you use your findings to inform and identify priorities, identify what changes might need to occur. And then from that, you can you'd like to hope that you can allocate resources or influence decision makers to allocate resources more accordingly to improve health, and ideally reduce health inequalities as well. Sometimes health needs assessments are done. There's some big pieces of work, involve a lot of collaboration with other parts of the local authority, as well as getting the public involved and listening to them and listening to what they perceive that their needs and wants are, and what their challenges to health are. Yeah, sometimes they are just not used, which is a shame. So hopefully the one that I do is actually then used to influence and make change for the better. But yeah, I've waffled for 9 minutes now, so I'm going to wrap this up and basically say that it's that time of year again where public health information webinars are starting to kind of be arranged and be delivered online. So if you are interested in applying, then just give it a Google, look on the Faculty of Public Health website. You'll kind of see the webinars that are taking place, and I will try to reply to comments to these videos, but I am useless and I don't seem to get notification. I'm going to try work on that. But yeah, I'm going to shut it down there, and yeah, I hope everyone is happy and healthy.